It started, yes.
We have a cat that isn't. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for attending the presentation today. And here we're going to be discussing the changes for your hotel. So we're going to go through two different options for the design and my proposal for it with the background and the information that you need. And then I'm going to leave some time at the very end for questions. Okay, so starting on, we are going to go through two different trends, digital escapism, and then the AI integrated hospitalities. And then finally, we go through the ideas that I have for the hotel. So this one is, again, some visuals or some ideas of the type of projects that we might be working with. So we start first with the digital escapism. Here you have a few ideas regarding the type of materials. They tend to be very reflective. Textures, as you can see here, tend to have ripples. And then we would have furniture that are kind of like bubble-like. Color palette would be something along these lines. And lighting is a very important aspect. And transparencies. And then where I wanted to get from, which I think is something very interesting for your hotel. So I is looking for something very attractive for people interested in new trends and trendsetters. And so I think something like this would work really well. Now, this digital escapism is based on the desire for people to experience something that goes beyond their daily usual reality, and so kind of like step temporarily outside of their lived day life. And especially hotel segment, it's very interesting because people are more used to have good services or comfortable places, but they want something more, something that gives them an experience. And I think something like digital escapism would work really well because it's bringing a lot of emotional value, it's experiential, atmospheric, and it really wants to create something dreamlike. Now, in this page, we see a few elements that are typical of these styles. So you would have immersive art, and then you would have, as I was saying, diffused atmospheres and light, and very much palettes that are pastels-like, and then rounded and involving kind of furniture. In the next page here, we can see some elements that would be good to use for your hotel. So image 15 and then 9 and 12 here would give example of transparencies and reflect. Same with 16. Then we would have example of art would be able to use, and we will see that into our sections at the end. The type of furniture, again, very rounded and flowing. Some textures that we might be able to use. And finally, texture that we might be able to use for the background. And also here, I'm recommending something like this around the bar. Then into the next trend, we look at AI integrated hospitality. This is quite self-explanatory why it would be interesting. And the reason is that it would be something that is edge of technology. And the way that we are interpreting this is as a layer that happens on top of the design that we choose to go for. So here we would start with, we have materials that would be the idea of, again, technology forward-looking. Textures are more of an accessory for this type of trend, in the sense that they need to play along with the light mostly. That is one of the main important aspects. The textures are enhancing that. And then furniture, that's something fairly important, needs to be modular so that they can be adapted, because that's really what we have with AI. And that's something that I describe here into the trend, is about how technology can support a better experience and more attuned experience for the users of the space. And so when we look here, it's some of the examples that we would have, but I would rather spend time on the elements that I'm recommending for the design. So we would have art that adapts with the guest, for example, and the experiences that are happening into the hotel. Light fixtures are very important. As I was saying, this is just an example of what we might be able to use that gives an idea of modern and futuristic. Then the images that you have here again is like type of displays and panels that you might be able to have for the walls to be able to connect with the people. Example of arts that would be, I think, as I was mentioning, adapting as people engage with them, and then finally modular elements. Now, this is the area that we're working on for the bar floor plan. So as you know, here we have the entrance, access to the hotel lobby, then there is the access to the bathroom, and then to bar areas that need to accommodate multiple activities. Now, what you see in the next pages are some sketches of the proposal that I have, and then I would to connect with you in terms of questions that you might have. The way that I'm planning for this, and you will see, but I wanted to show also in the physical sketches, is to have first kind of like a normal layer of decor, more related with the escapism, and then interpreting the AI enrichment to it as an extra add-on layer. So that's the reason that we had these transparencies across that you see into the presentation. So when we start with the main bar, we would have the access. And what I was saying relating to the images that you saw before, you would have very blobby and rounded shape furniture. On the windows, I would recommend to have some layers that allow for some of the reflections to come through, like that picture of the pillow that we saw earlier, and very rounded ceilings, kind of like a bubble. And then the hotel access would have, again, like some transparencies. The bar, I'm imagining something like a reflective material, possibly with some color added to it. Texture behind the bar, kind of like those curtains, possibly in those greenish colors that we saw, and then some softly reflective material behind the restaurant part. Then when we talk about adding a layer with AI, these would be something that adjusts to the experience or to the people that are in the space. So for example, for the DJ night, the screen that I mentioned last could have some or some layers, some lighting that is able to connect, for example, to the people in the dance floor. The separation to the bathroom might be fogging, for example, when there is a queue in the bathroom, so people know that they should not go at that moment. The lights be adjusting based on the time of the day or the occupancy of the room. So, for example, putting more focus on the tables that are occupied.
Sofia?
Bloccata?
Yeah. Sofia?
Sei incantata. Glielo dici?
Sofia, we are not able to hear you. Yes. No, not only one, the last slide. Main bar sketch. Can you close your video and then reconnect again?
Come mai si è... Ciao, non si assomiglia.
Don't talk because it's recording.
Oh, can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but we are not talking because it's recording.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, hello. You were presenting.
Yes.
Mhm.
Did you hear until when did you reach? I'm sorry, I think the internet fell.
Can you share your screen so we will be able to tell
Yes.
where we were stayed?
Okay. You would be able to.
Yeah, we were here. You were presenting here.
Okay. I'm trying to present. Let's see. Okay. Did you hear any of it or should I start again?
Please start again.
Okay. So here again, we would have mostly AI interacting with the occupancy of the room or the type of activity. So that would be adjusting lights, adjusting the background screen, for example, for people dancing, the lights behind the bar in order to display more of the products that they want to sell at the time. Or, for example, adapting the curtains according to the luminosity outside. So, for example, this would be like curtains that allow some of the light to come through, and they come down if the sun, for example, is shining very strongly outside. And then furniture should be modular in order for us to be able to adjust them based on the activities. And finally, these be able to allow for activities such as cooking classes or cocktail classes to happen as well. It's a fairly consistent bar size for the room. And then finally, this partition would be fogging when there's a queue in the bathroom to help people understand when is the right moment to go if they need to. Before I get to the other room, do you have any questions? Can you still hear me?
Do you have any question?
Yes.
Mm.
In the photo number 8, what is this photo representing?
So photo number 8, let me get back to that.
Yes. No.
It's not here. Ah, yes. So this one is an idea of the type of palette and the type of experience that, like, more of a concept for this space. So as you see, there's a lot of pink in the project that I suggest. And on the other hand, also,
Sorry for interrupting. We are asking image 8.
Yes.
this one.
Yes.
So it's kind of like the palette that you see is some of the ones that I would recommend, and also this kind of like a dreamlike aspect that this picture has.
Yes.
Clear?
And what color in this? Aren't those color too aggressive?
This picture here you're talking about, or any other? Maybe.
Mhm.
In general, our colors are very aggressive. So we were just thinking that it's going to be
And this, the different color.
it's going to make the people tired
Okay.
at some point.
I mean, some of the palette, like I have, for example, this type of image here. That one is more to give an example of adaptive art that exists in the world. Now, in terms of color palette, I would be thinking more about image 23 or 29 and 28. So very pastel-like and very dream dreamlike. Now, it might not be the type of ideal thing that people would have in their own home, but I think it's very good for an experiential type of space.
Yes.
Okay.
And, will you use this furniture for the project?
You mean the ones at in this picture here?
Mhm.
Not exactly like this. I'm imagining something a lot more on the lines of what you see here in image 13, or in that project from Zaha Hadid, which is this image 21, and then we have also here. So something very rounded, very soft. This picture here is more to give an example of modularity in the furniture that you can use.
Okay, clear. We can go to other room.
Perfect. Then the next one, this one is for the upstairs bar. And here again, I'm first discussing the layer for digital escapism. So we would have the color glass, like that purple that you would have seen at the beginning, that I would recommend to put on that very big window that we have. And then some art on a screen again. The main bar here is substantially smaller than the one that you will have downstairs. And in general, for this palette, I'm taking slightly darker color. My inspiration is kind of like under the sea kind of vibe. And so here would be a reflective material, possibly shaped a bit like an oyster. So very kind of like with ribs around it, if you want. And then the furniture here would be much lighter than the one that you have seen for the downstairs bar. Reason for that being that I would like them to be easy to move in case there's any form of yoga class or something like this. And then the overlay layer for this one, it's not super visible to be honest, but the art would have been adaptive to people engaging with it. Again, modular furniture and lights that adjust according to the time of the day. And same should happen with these glass in the background in order for them to adjust based on the time of the day, the luminosity, or like the type of activity, and possibly even create privacy. So being very bright, but not see-through from the outside for night parties, for example. And one thing that I wanted to mention that I didn't say before, there would be high table in the area where you come upstairs, and a low table in the front so that the people in the back are able to see outside as well. And one thing also that I wanted to mention is that for the modularity of these, I would like to have kind of like the bar moving, possibly pivoting around the piping for the water attachment in order for the room to be able to adapt a little bit better as well. Finally, this might help some of you because we started specifically with the room and not so much with the floor plan. But this was the floor plan, so seen from high. I didn't put colors here because I thought it was much easier. But as guests go in, I would like to have 2 screens of immersive art, and then possibly an art piece onto the ceiling. Then you have the stairs to go up. And so here you would have the secondary bar that you saw a second ago. While on the left, we would have the main bar and the access to the bathrooms. When we talk about having an AI overlay, I would like to have, again, art that adjusts with the people coming into the space, and then possibly even have some form of face recognition or card if guests are not comfortable with that for the door that goes to the hotel lobby, so that you kind of have like a screen that covers it for the clients of the 2 bars, while if we have guests, they also have the curtains kind of like moving on the side automatically if it recognizes them as guests for the hotel. And that wraps up my presentation. That would be all. I'll stop sharing for a second.
Thank you so much. It is great presentation. I like the second bar proposal with some adjustments that you are, flexibility that you are giving. Only thing that I will be worried about the immersive art that requires a lot of electricity.
That's a fair point, definitely. And when we consider in terms of the environmental impact, also having all these screens might be something that we need to consider. So we will see if all of that would be screens or just lights behind a transparent screen. That would be also something that we can consider, so that we can check also what is the lifetime that each one of these technology has.
Yeah,
obviously there's going to be a balance between the economic impact and
we want to create a sustainable hotel as well. Yes, it's very immersive and very impressive, but those things are, when it's being big, it is being helpful in terms of experience it. And when you do have everywhere, it's becoming a kind of a bill that we need to consider.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
Great presentation.
So much.
Okay, thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Bye-bye.
Everything is clear. Bye.
Bye.